Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here. We've been. I don't know where we. Okay, we're going to talk about where we've been, and we owe you guys an explanation, and because it's been a little while,
We don't
and
know anybody's shit.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind show, the place to have the most mind stretching, unprotected intellectual intercourse of your life. Your hosts battle the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.
so welcome back to the Unframe of Mind show,
Yeah,
where we have
welcome back.
uncomfortable conversations without a condom. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner.
And 4,000 years old, Anthony Trewick.
4,000. Yeah. I saw that today, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty exciting. We just happened
Yeah.
to be deciding to record in the studio today, and we hit 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like a nice. I know it's arbitrary, but that nice even numbers are always so nice. So I'm
Well,
looking.
I think the difference is we don't really push subscribers.
Mhm.
We don't ask for people to subscribe. Maybe we should, but I think it's just the fact we enjoy doing this whenever we want
Yeah.
and talking about whatever it is that we just kind of have on our mind.
Yeah, it's not
So-
like this thing pays our bills or anything.
No,
so,
God, no.
So tell us, Anthony, where the hell have you been, dude?
Man, God, let's see, it's been a little over a year since we've done anything on the show. Man, I tell you what, last 2 years I've been dealing with some medical issues with my hip. Found out that I was stage 1 arthritis in my left hip, which basically kind of limited my mobility as far as what I could do. And, I was working through the week, sometimes on the weekends. I'd go home on the weekends, would load up on a bunch of ibuprofen and not pretty much get off the couch. I ended up gaining like ungodly amount of weight in the process of losing that. But yeah, for like 2 years, dude, I wasn't hardly doing anything. Finally, it was to a point where I was laying on the couch one Saturday and realized I couldn't get off the couch. I was in so much pain. Had to go to the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance to get checked out and did some x-rays and found some issues going on with my hip. They didn't want to go ahead and usher in a new piece of hardware into my side. So we held off on that, and they just gave me a shot in the ass of some steroids, and I had some anti-inflammatories, and was out of work for a week, but everything seems to be going good. It's been 6 months since that happened. I've been eating better, cut out a lot of the garbage that I was eating, down almost, I think, right at 20 pounds. For those that don't know, I was all the way up to 330. I'm fairly tall, so I can carry that weight kind of well. But then dropped down to, what was it, 312
Right.
was the last time I've weighed in. So that's good. I mean, the downside to the hip issue is that, I had to quit boxing because of it, because if anybody knows anything about boxing, it requires a lot of hip movement.
Yeah, I bet.
Just not feasible for what I was doing. Try to get back into it. Go back into boxing using the same place that I was using before. I was considered a liability because of my hip, so they really couldn't take that on, which I understood. I get it. So then I just started looking at different things to cut back on the weight. I ended up I'm eating salads every other day. I'm eating chicken and rice in between those days, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And just sitting back and seeing everything kind of unfold on the news and kind of in our general senses of what's going on in the world. And yeah, it's been a little entertaining. What about you, man? I know that we haven't seen each other in some time. What's new with you?
That's excellent. So basically, to summarize, it sounds like you're just lazy.
Yeah,
you're just a good
I
for
wanted
nothing.
to be lazy and just fat and happy.
Yeah. You're just a good for nothing. You just didn't feel like doing no shows. You're just like, I'm not going to work.
Man, I
not
wasn't
nothing.
doing nothing.
No.
I was literally laid up on the couch or in the recliner on the weekends. It'd be
Yeah, just
beautiful
trying to
outside.
recover. Right.
I'm just trying to get through the last 5 days because I was working a lot of 12 hours, and I didn't know it was a hip issue. Like I was dealing with arthritis in my hip, and I was just taking anywhere between, I think, 8 ibuprofen a day, maybe more.
Like
I was
800 milligram ibuprofen.
No, I was taking like 200 milligram
Oh, I got you.
of 8,
yeah.
ibuprofen. So do the math on that. But yeah, I would come home, I would hit the recliner, not get off of that, and then if I did go to bed, it was trying to go to sleep in a bunch of pain. It was miserable, dude.
that sounds- That sounds completely unbearable, and I'm glad you're on the downside of that and heading towards something something better,
Yeah,
and actually able to have some quality of life at this point.
it's interesting. I just turned 43, so it's you're kind of in that headspace of not really knowing, like, is this something I should really go get checked out at, or is this something that's just going to pass?
Yeah, yeah.
Because your mindset is well, I'll get through this like I have anything else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Everything else heals at
Yeah,
some point,
and then
just uncomfortable for a while.
It gets to a point where it's like, this ain't going away.
Yeah.
This shit's like really kicking my ass, and I need to get it figured out. And then when I can't get off the couch, it was like, okay, we got to go.
Yeah, yeah. It's that moment when you have to come to terms with your mortality, and you have to realize, well,
I'm falling apart.
yeah, that's crazy.
So
as far as from my perspective, I've tried to record plenty of episodes throughout the time. I've got so many ideas, and part of the problem is I've always been uncomfortable recording solo videos. I try to come up with some kind of a script or some kind of a bullet points that I can discuss, but it's so much easier to let the ideas flow when you're bouncing them off somebody else. And
that's true.
It's like trying to do your makeup without a mirror in front of you, right? I'm over here trying to, and it's just all over the place. But like when I can reflect those ideas off somebody else who's hearing them, and I can see in real time what you're saying versus what I'm saying, or sorry, what you're hearing versus what I'm saying, and I can understand if I'm getting a point across, or if I'm making sense, or if you're over there looking at me all cross-eyed and stuff. It's like, well, this isn't making any sense what he's saying. So it's you or anybody on that opposite side of me to bounce those ideas off of helps reflect it back, helps me understand where I'm going with it and how well I'm communicating. That being said, I do have a lot of ideas that we may go back and revisit and discuss the topics, because there's a lot of stuff been going on the last few years, and I'm not talking about necessarily the individual instances that have been happening, but it's just the fact that I'm seeing a lot of how people are thinking and how they
repetitive.
Well, it's just how they're not thinking, I guess, would be the better way
lack thereof
putting it. A lot of people that think they're thinking, but they're just not. I like my latest insult has been, man, that is the best, that's the greatest first level thinking I've ever seen. Like, they're just doing so great. They think they're so smart, and they're just not that smart. It's really bothering me.
But I don't know. I just
but aside from like where I've been, it's been just I've been trying to build a business. I've been working for myself. Trying to adjust to where I had been working for somebody else for my entire working career. I'm trying to make that adjustment into working for myself, being responsible for my own schedule and my own destiny. I like it from a mental health standpoint. It's been so much better. From a financial standpoint, it's just now starting to reach parity from where I was at, which is great. So it just takes time to build, and I think the difference is I have unlimited potential as far as where I can go with it versus working for somebody else. You kind of hit a ceiling, and you don't get to experience as much upward growth, especially when you're working for a major company who's into more of the DEI hiring practices, and it's very noticeable. It's not for lack of me trying to raise the ranks in my previous company, but when I'm working for myself, I don't have those limitations. So it's been great, and I'm.
Do you feel like you're busier than you were if you were kind of still with?
Yeah, 100%, way busier. Even like today, for example, I've already been up and had to go return a tiller back to Home Depot. I did not have time to do everything I needed to do because I knew you would be here at 2 p.m. We're going to record our episodes, and then I've got a small window of time where I can maybe eat something, and then I'm going to go do the Patriot Punkcast later this evening.
How's that going, by the
way? That's another thing I've been doing is the Patriot Punkcast. It's been going. If I could get my hotkeys right, it's been great. So far, we've been growing. I think we're up to about 300 plus subscribers on Rumble. We've been focusing solely on Rumble instead of building on YouTube and then transitioning to Rumble. And it's basically an opportunity to put my words where my mouth is. There's so many times that you and I in the past we talked about, hey, focusing local.
Yep.
And this is specifically local Tennessee politics is what we're covering. Local Tennessee stories, mostly Middle Tennessee because that's where we live at.
Right.
we're focusing on that, and we're actually able to raise a lot of awareness for things, and I'm able to become aware of things that I otherwise wouldn't have known about because
Yep.
all I'm being fed is the mainstream media
The
news
national
sources
news,
and
yeah.
national news. Yeah, and, when you focus on national news, it's like you don't get to know
You don't see what's going on
the
next door.
corruption literally going on right next to you. Like
Yeah.
it's right there. Like
Kind of like the whole gangbang over in Laverne. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just-
that.
yeah.
Also all the spider web of corruption that's going on over in Putnam County, Tennessee.
Yeah.
We put out a documentary. It's low budget documentary because we work with what we got,
Mhm.
but it basically just kind of details and puts together in a nice neat format all of the corruption that's going on in Putnam County. So if you want to check that out, go to pcsoexposed.com. That's Putnam County Sheriff's Office, pcsoexposed.com, and you can check out that documentary. We've had a lot of good feedback on that. It's probably our most viewed video so far.
Nice.
And as a result, we've had a lot of people reach out to us from that area saying, hey, we're glad you guys are covering this. And they may leave a tip or two for us about some other stuff that they might have heard. So it's nice. We're building kind of a network of individuals throughout the state that can help us better get a clearer picture about what's actually going on in our own backyard. So
Chase is an animal too, man. He goes after people hard.
Oh my God,
I love that.
Yeah. He has no chill, man. He has
No.
no chill, man. He goes in, he does his thing, and I fully,
It's like a very polite fuck you.
yeah. He's not an asshole about
No,
it.
he's not. He's a really good guy, and I've had a chance to spend time with him and hang out and so forth, and I've always loved the skits that we've done or
Yes.
whatever projects we've kind of dabbled into, and he's just a really good guy. But it's just like he's got this, don't mess with me because I will screw up your life from one end to the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great, you know.
No chill,
So,
no chill at all. I love it,
Okay.
and I respect the honesty in it. And he is what he says he is. I mean, I only tend to surround myself with people that, at least that's been the pattern that I've been trying to do in the recent times.
you find that it's getting harder these days to be able to surround yourself with those kind of people that can be brutally honest with you.
That's a good question. When I'm actively searching, yeah, probably.
No, just not
but
searching, but just when you meet somebody or approach somebody with the things that you guys are doing over on his show, is it just like you kind of look at somebody, you kind of size them up and wonder, is this person legit? I mean, I know that's something we've often done over the years, but more so recently with everything going on in the political and social climate, are you finding that it's harder to really kind of filter out
Yeah, that's
those kind of people?
That's a good question. I think it's just about how you filter them out. Really, it's when you're meeting someone. Like I tend to, if I already trust you and I already respect you, I'm going to take into account your advice, your suggestions. So if you say to me, "Hey, I'd like you to meet such and such. He's XYZ,"
right.
I'm going to trust that,
Okay.
and I'm going to give it more weight than I otherwise would. And that's served me really well. Is like just allowing your network to help you build your network in a way, and it's been very, very helpful. I found I tend to not do so well in the arenas where I'm just kind of going in cold and I don't know anything about this person. So there was the whole debacle back during the Let's Go Brandon Freedom rally, and that convoy to Save America. In the aftermath, where we were dealing with one of the founding members stealing money and not fulfilling their promises, and then when confronted with that, became a certifiable psycho bitch. Like
I told you early on, I didn't like. There was something about her I didn't like.
Yeah,
and
I
told you that.
Yeah, I need to learn to listen to you more. That I should have listened. I apologize for not.
Well,
but,
it wasn't that I was trying to badmouth her.
Yeah.
It's just something seemed off with her.
yeah.
And I wasn't getting a good vibe, and I told you that, and I left it alone. I didn't know what it was or what exactly I was feeling, but I just you kind of get a general sense of
read.
people sometimes, or a read, and I did with her, and it was just I'm not feeling this, and I told you that because I think you asked me something about doing something or partaking, and I don't know, I forgot. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, I think the OG members will remember all about that. So if you want to go back and hit me up privately and ask me about it, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm
I kind
trying
of feel
really
like
hard.
you didn't get. I don't know if you didn't get what I was trying to throw at you, or Were you just kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt?
It could have been a little bit of everything. Who knows? But I don't want to mention her name or anything. So
no,
she doesn't deserve it.
No.
Anyway, but we're still I'm still working with Penny Faye on.
How's she doing?
She's doing wonderful. She's still doing the Penny Faye show.
All right.
And she does it nightly, 8 p.m.
Is it New York or Jersey accent that she's got?
It's New York.
I love that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love it. Penny Faye's awesome. She's awesome. But coming up with the future of the show, like I think what I would like to try to do.
Yeah.
If I could throw this out there, I'd like to see us do more skits because I loved those. They were so much fun, and I mean I know we never got the virality on the views that we hoped they would.
Those COVID ones were good,
but the people that did watch them loved them. It's just a matter of so I think if we have more at bats, if we get up to the plate more with those, I think we can stand a chance of because I've got a ton of those written down too that I would love to do.
I think what we're doing, we're on the right track.
Yeah.
I think we're running into the issue that our channel's been suppressed. Yeah. I think our kind of content would be considered far right extremist kind of content.
A little controversial.
Yeah. So,
and, well, not to mention that we're irregular.
YouTube. I don't think your major platforms are going to push people like us.
Yeah.
Say if we just kind of button it up a little bit and not really toe the line.
Well,
I don't want to do that because then I kind of feel like we're doing that whole dog and pony show.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way we kind of have this don't give a fuck attitude, but we do it because we just want to do it, and we're not so hell bent on trying to appease other people or the companies that we're having to post our content on their platforms.
It is nice not having a schedule. I don't want to have a schedule, which that was one of the rules when I started working myself. The rule is I want stuff that's I can be creative in and stuff that offers flexibility. Like I don't want to be tied to a schedule. So it works really well for me as far as this. But as far as like I did the skit recently, and I might play it here in the video about the border issue going on back when Texas National Guard was. And that one got between TikTok and YouTube. It got about 100K views on it. It did really well.
Hey man, what's up? So, I can't wait to get started on my first day as a U.S. Border Patrol agent. Congrats. What are we doing today? Stopping illegal immigrants? No. Protecting the U.S. border from foreign invaders? No. Helping build a strong defense wall? What about apprehending suspected members of dangerous Mexican cartels? Nope. Stopping the fence? No. Look. You see that razor wire over there keeping people from crossing the river instead of one of our pre-approved checkpoints? Yeah? I'm gonna need you to cut it down. Oh, so we can move it closer to the shore? No. So we can take it to a more strategic location? No. So we can... Dude, stop. Bundle it all up, put it in that recycling receptacle right over there. We got to save the environment. Welcome to the team.
Nice.
So I would love to do some more like that because especially if we can get them done, when an event is hot, people really are looking for that kind of stuff, and the algorithms will feed it to people. So I want to do more like that, and I think we can do really well with it. We did really well with the music reaction videos that we definitely don't do. We never did. Right?
No. I mean, I think at any given time we were averaging above 10,000.
Yeah, those were cool. So I'd like to do some more of those. Those were fun, and I'd like to see some more of that. And then just in general, just discussions on crypto and relationships and bold ideas, just like we were doing before. Just do what we do.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the general sense or direction of what you're throwing out there. I kind of agree with you. Over the last year, I have done a lot of research on a particular subject that I never really had an interest in until probably the last 4 years. What I've gone through with my own mother.
Yeah.
and understanding what a narcissist parent is, and understanding their behaviors and some key things to look for, and really kind of looking at everything I've gone through with my mother and of course with my dad, but more so with my mom, and understanding, like when I started reading off the traits of a narcissist parent, I was like, oh shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. Like
You're like, ow, ow,
yeah,
ow, ow.
like I never knew how bad it was. Like I didn't start seeing signs of her being this way until a couple of years ago, and we haven't talked in probably the last about 4 years, maybe 5 years. And then during that time, like I would start doing research. I was listening to different podcasts and different people, and I started to kind of think about everything I've gone through. I mean, you know, I've got a pretty rocky history with everything from my upbringing all the way until now. As far as my childhood was pretty fucked up, but yeah, it was interesting. Like I'd learned so much about narcissistic people, and whether it's people I work with or whether it's family, whether it's friends. Like you start to question a lot of things that you typically wouldn't question.
Yeah.
And I found myself kind of in that area, so I kind of want to dabble in that a little bit.
Okay.
As the
Yeah,
show's
that
going
would be
on.
really cool to cover that for sure.
Yeah, and
yeah.
then I also kind of want to talk about, this has been weighing heavy on my mind, is
Sorry, just to finish up what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about that, and then maybe invite other people to call in with their stories, because those are the kind of conversations I think we could be the most impactful with in general.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that I definitely want to put that on the docket as far as what I want to discuss. The second thing is technology and parenting.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'm finding a lot of podcasters aren't really kind of exploring or understanding. I think everybody has a general sense of, okay, well, this kid grows up a certain way because you gave them a tablet. You just put a device in their face and kind of let them go on their way. But I really have dove into this, like, where did this start? How did this start? Who was monitoring the parents when technology was introduced to us? Like, there was no class, there was no instruction manual, there was no how-to back,
Right.
because you have to remember, we are the generation of the analog and now digital.
Yeah.
So we've seen both sides of this coin, but it's the millennial generation. I mean, I consider myself Gen Z only because my birthday is at the beginning of the year, and of course I was born in '81. But then some would say I'm a millennial, so I'm kind of on that cusp.
Yeah.
a little bit.
We're called the Zennials.
Yeah.
Gen X.
Or
Is that what you meant, Gen
or
X?
Gen X, not
Yeah.
Gen Z.
You're a little old
No.
for Gen Z.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Might have to edit that one out. But it's been fascinating to research this to an extent where I'm finding that even today, parents are just as bad as the millennials were.
Yeah.
And there was really no how-to with the internet. It was like we went from, okay, we had just emails, and then it turned into web pages.
Yeah.
Then it turned into
yeah,
search engines, and then it was just like, oh, okay, like we're getting this dopamine like every single day, because then in 2007 we got the iPhone. Now we got the world at our fingertips. Like nobody knew how to self-regulate technology,
and it's happening so quickly. And
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I get what you're saying, where a lot of folks are like blaming the parents for how their kids are turning out, but at the same time, we're like you said, there was no instruction manual.
Right.
Also, we don't know. Like we had no idea the negative effects, because there was not enough body of evidence
to suggest or show
to
that,
build up the
Yeah.
because for us, we were hearing it from our parents. Oh, the TV's gonna rot your brain, which arguably it probably did. But
And now we got DVRs that are like, hey. I see that meme all the time. I love sharing it because it is.
Did you say DVRs? I think you meant
Or-
VR goggles.
VR. I said, wow, that shows you kind of my age right there.
Yeah, I want to see somebody
kind
holding a
of
DVR up to their face and watching it. Like, bro, you're not doing it right. Something's terribly
Oh,
wrong.
jeez. Okay. Yeah. So
Wonderful.
um,
I love the slips of tug, man. There's so much fun.
I'm still dusting off the cobwebs and doing the show, or haven't done the show in some time. So I kind of want to dabble in that, but I also I want to share a story of things that I'm going through with my significant other's son and the things that we've implicated into his life at 15 years old. And I'm hearing a lot of kids these days don't want to drive. I want to talk about that. They're terrified of driving. There is no ambition in this current generation of kids.
Yeah.
They don't want to work. They don't want to get a license. Like, dude, when we were kids, we wanted to get our license.
Yeah.
We
We
wanted
could-
to get behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah.
We wanted that open road. And
That freedom to break away from,
yeah.
I mean, even out of my own kids, I only have one that's really ambitious, and and a second one that's starting to get there, and one of them that's learning to be an adult
yeah,
because she was thrown into it. So
how the kids, by the way? I know most of them. I think all but one has now moved out.
one of them's back home for a while, saving up money, and she's here with her girlfriend, and they're staying and building up money, and it's a joy to have her around. They pay their $50 a week for rent. Just nothing compared to what's out there right now. She's working on that, and then I just have one more minor still living at home, and
Okay.
it's
an empty nester.
yeah, for a few weeks, when one moved out and another one moved back in, it was just three of us, and it was so wild trying to adjust from cooking for like six people, managing the lives of six people down to three, and it's like quite a considerable move because everybody kind of moved out at once. They're all generally in the same little age chunk, so yeah, it's been going good. Everybody's doing well. Everybody's hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit, as they say. So yeah. But that's the general where we've been, what we've been doing, and what we plan on doing in the not too distant future on the show. And
we're also going to talk a little bit more about crypto.
Oh, for sure.
I got a lot to say on that, and for those of you that actually listen to us or to myself when I've kind of given advice as far as crypto is concerned, if anybody has stayed in the market, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
For those of you that just couldn't handle it, you should have stayed in. We'll
definitely be covering that for sure.
We'll definitely cover that, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully this time people will take us a little bit more seriously when we tell you things.
And I told you the other day, I texted you. I was like, hey, I said, have you ever just forgotten about some crypto you bought and just figured it out later? I was trying to log back into old accounts and stuff, and I was just kind of going through and detailing, where I've got what I've got, where I've got it. And I was like, shit, what was that login again? And I tried to figure it out, and it took me a minute to remember my password. And I logged in, and I was like, I didn't put that much money in there.
You've made that much money, my friend.
But it's nice to find you had $3,500 just laying around, that you didn't expect to have. Like, that's cool.
That's always.
And
a
guess
good
what I'm
day.
doing with it?
Reinvesting.
Nothing. I'm leaving it right there. It's fine. It's fine where it is. Let it be my retirement account.
Well, good. So that's kind of the gist of kind of where we've been, what we've been doing, and kind of future shows and discussions. And I'm sure other things will kind of pop up. I definitely want to talk about other social issues pertaining to the transgender, everything from Planet Fitness to what's going on in New York and why Democrats are pushing all these policies, and now people are starting to feel the effects of it. They had the whole situation of women getting punched randomly.
I could go on and on about
that. There's just a lot
the
going on.
The rise of the conspiracy theorist.
Yes, that's another one.
I've been ad nauseum.
Yeah,
and I probably pissed off a lot of my right wing friends, honestly.
I've got legit Mexican people texting me about the frustration of what's going on at the border and them getting all the incentives that they have, and there's just so many different things that we're gonna get eventually get to. We don't have enough hours in the day.
You can tell by the disjointed way we're trying to end this. All the ideas we're throwing out, we're just like. You can tell there's a lot we've been kind of like ready to go.
Well, I think a lot of it,
which is great. That's great. That's a good problem to have versus us having a scheduled show and trying to like look in and go, oh shit, well, I don't have anything. What do you got? I ain't got nothing. Let's look up some stuff just so we have something to talk about.
Right.
Like that gets frustrating. It starts to feel like work, and that's not. It's already enough work to try to promote this stuff. We want that part to at least be enjoyable for us.
I think a lot of people are already familiar with what's going on in the world as far as social issues and political things. I think kind of the gear I want to shift into is okay, we're hearing everybody bitch about it, but what are we actually going to do about it?
And what can we do about it?
What can we do?
Yeah.
Is it going to have to go back to a local level? Is it, what's going on in New York? That's a direct local issue.
Yeah.
And you have these vigilantes that are kind of stepping up and taking matters in their own hands. And is that going to happen? Is that going to sweep the nation? Is that what we're going to see? There's just so many things to unpack. We're not going to revisit old articles or topics, but we are going to discuss certain situations, certain political and social things that are currently going on, because even back when we took this break, this year-long break that we took, a lot of this stuff's still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to think about it, we were telling people back during COVID, you and I were talking before we started this recording that, you had mentioned during one of the podcasts for people, that were worried about COVID and the fallout of it, think about inflation, because that was coming down the pike.
Yep.
And, you had warned people, and it was just like, plan accordingly, save up a little bit of this, save up a little bit of that,
Yep.
and the payoff is going to be worth it. That was
So glad I did that.
2, maybe 3 years ago that we'd had that discussion.
Yeah.
We were also one of the first podcasts, if you go back on YouTube, to ever discuss COVID, and I think that's still kind of wild if you think about it. But yeah, I mean, it's just the tie-in from old shows to the stuff that's going to be coming on down, later on. And it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun to revisit some things. It's going to get a little frustrating because, we keep encountering the same issues. But all in all, at the end of the day, we're back. It's good to be back. I think this is going to really kind of motivate us to push more skits, to make fun of things. If you're a little too sensitive to certain subjects, don't watch it. But hey, at least share it to your friends that would.
Well, if you've hung out with us this long and you've been watching it and you have specific topics you'd like us to cover, please let us know in the comment section below, and we'll see about making independent videos about that. I have it set up where we can do remote stuff if we got something that's pressing need and we got to record it quick.
Yeah.
I can call you up. We can get on a quick stream. We can do it. Your schedule's finally loosened up a little bit, so we can make that happen. That was probably the number one reason why.
Oh, that was bad.
It was just scheduling stuff was a pain, but but it's going to be a little easier now, and we're aiming at doing more videos. So hang out with us. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hang in there. It'll be like we've never left.
Hey,
and
it's good to see you, buddy.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to some more shows. So
Yep. All right, guys.
that being said,
see ya.
oh, we're over here. Hey, you want to wave?
Hey,
all right.
later, guys.
Bye.